Welcome to Global Spotlight. My name is Pastor Stephanie Jones, and today's topic is a woman who has a non-traditional career. It should be a very interesting half hour. So just sit back and relax because our guest today is none other than Minister Pearl Sullivan. Welcome to Global Spotlight.
Hi, Pastor Stephanie. How are you
Hi.
today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
That's good. Thank you for having me here today.
It's a pleasure because I know you have a very, very busy schedule. So I'm glad you could be here.
I'm glad I'm here too.
All right.
To God be the glory.
Yes. Thank God. You know, this topic is very intriguing to me because traditionally, most females have had traditional careers down through the years. Usually, they became social workers, school teachers. But with us today in the studio is a woman who has excelled in a non traditional career. Would you like to share with our viewers exactly what that non traditional career is?
Yes, back in 1981, I became a New York City police officer, and I retired in 1995 because of a line of duty injury.
Could you tell us how did you choose that particular profession?
Well, when I was younger, I was in my teenage years, and a lot of the friends that I grew up with, their fathers or their parents were in law enforcement or they worked for the city. And a lot of their children at that time, a lot of males, took the civil service exam to become police officers or corrections officers. And I was too young. So in 1979, when the test rolled around again, I took the exam and I passed it with a 94
You go ahead.
and became a police officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I know you must have surprised a lot of people.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. My mother was extremely surprised. Unfortunately, the year that I was going into the police academy, 4 police officers were killed in the line of duty. So she was a little
Wow.
nervous for me. Yes, she was extremely nervous. Those are the days of the crack wars. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
wow. Yeah, you were out there on the firing line.
a little bit.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You know, I love talking to you about this because all too often in today's society, whenever we hear things about police officers, it's always something negative. You know, they don't tell about the good things that police officers do. But Sister Sullivan is going to share some things with us about the positivity.
Well, we have police officers that are out there. They're every day. We're just human beings doing a really ugly job. We're not invited to the birthday parties and the Thanksgiving dinners, and we come in afterwards after people are fighting and fussing with each other, and they expect us to clean up the mess.
Hello?
And we see the ugly side of human life.
Yes.
you know so, and that's not a good thing.
Yes.
A lot of members of our society don't see us as human beings, but we go home after our tour to our families and our children doing the same exact things. We play video games with them, we sit down to dinner with them.
Yes.
We play sports with them and everything else. So we're just people too.
Right.
you know
Yeah. And I remember back in the day when I was coming along, we used to have the police officers who were on the beat. And we all knew police officer so and so, and he knew your mother, he knew the people in the community. Do you think that they should have that now? Or do they have it now?
It's a little difficult to have something like that. They've gone back to a model of it, community policing, where you have steady police officers within a sector that are supposed to get to know the people. It's difficult because of the amount of people that we have in New York City,
Oh.
and we have a lot of transient housing in our communities.
Yes.
So a lot of people are coming and going on a regular basis. So it's a little difficult to get to know who's in your neighborhood. And if you're not dealing with a problematic area, then you tend not to know who the residents are.
Oh,
But they do have a steady sector now that they're really working with that, where people are getting to know, especially the business owners and the businesses in the neighborhoods, along with the churches and the houses of worship that are in their areas, so that they get a little bit of a pulse on the community and who's there and what's going on.
okay. That's very good because it's good when the police officers know the people in the community and the people get to know them because then it causes people to trust,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, the media has painted a very ugly picture. They only paint the negative.
Oh, yes.
They
Oh,
don't paint the
yes.
positive of what police officers do. You know, I know a few cops that have gone into their own pockets when they came across a homeless family and brought groceries for them. You know, and this happens more often than not, you know, throughout the city of New York on a regular basis. It's never publicized or
That's right.
highlighted.
You never
You may
hear it.
hear one or two incidents of it, but it pretty much happens on a regular basis.
Yes.
Officers go out, they play basketball with the kids at the local playground and things like that. So, you know, we do some organized sports and not just PAL. You know, this is within each and every precinct that's out there. You know, not
Yes.
everybody is leaving and going home, you know, to their families. Some of them
Yes.
stick around and try to help the people that they come across in dire circumstances throughout our community.
Wow. And see, we never hear stories like that. Very, very rarely do we hear things like that. I remember years ago when the summer would come around and the PAL, a lot of people in our community used to join the PAL. I remember when my sister played hooky from school. I got so tickled because Police Officer Brown told my mother, Miss McKeither, your daughter didn't go to school yesterday. She was around that corner where those hooky players was. And we started laughing. I started laughing because I know my mother was going to get her. But the police officers had a different relationship with us in those days.
Well, it's different now. You know, we have the media, we have a lot of community activists have more or less painted the police department as the bad guys, especially in certain communities, especially in
Yes.
communities of color. And what they don't seem to realize is that police officers of color also have difficulties dealing with the public, you
So
know, on a
true.
regular basis, because there's this image that we don't care. But they have to also understand that we're the only line of protection for those people that may be in a criminal situation or had an accident. We're quote unquote the first responders.
Yes.
We're the first people call. First
Exactly.
person, the first agency that people call whenever, you know, something happens or something's going on. So we don't always see the nice side of people. We
No.
only see the ugly. You know, we're
So
picking up the
true.
bodies off of I-95 on a regular basis.
Yes.
You know, that's not the nice side of life.
No, not at all. You know, now that you have retired, are you still affiliated with any organizations?
As a matter of fact, I am. I'm with an organization called Police Organization Providing Peer Assistance, which gets counseling services for police officers that may need them, no matter what it is, grief counseling or, you know, marriage and family therapy, anything like that,
That's
along those
excellent.
lines. And we help them get the help that they need, you know, and it's
Yes.
all a volunteer basis. I volunteer with them. I've been with them since 2006 doing this.
Wow.
You know, we respond to horrific situations because post-traumatic stress disorder is real.
Yes.
And we try to protect our police officers from the after effects of the trauma that they may receive while they're out on patrol.
Yes. You know what I found so fascinating, ladies and gentlemen, about Minister Pearl Sullivan is that she crossed over from being a police officer to being a clergy person. I'd love to hear how you made that big leap from police officer to clergy.
Well, it wasn't such a big leap. You know, life has its circumstances, and I got born again September 6, 1998. And
Wow.
I knew then that I was called to ministry. So I went into a program called the Victorious Overcomer Support Group Ministry with Pastor Vincent Bonfiglio out in Flushing, Queens. And that is an international program throughout the world. You know, they're even in Tanzania. That's amazing.
Yes.
You know, so, and I was with that well, I'm still part of that organization because once a victorious overcomer, always a victorious overcomer. You know, and I was a table leader for a little while, but that program allowed me to come back to myself and to more or less recover back into who God originally created me to be. So now I'm also lending help to other people. I also went back to school.
Oh,
Okay.
tell us a little bit about that.
I went to the College of New Rochelle, the Co-op City campus of the School and the Resources. In 1999, I walked in, took the exam, passed it, and all I knew was that Tuesday morning I was sitting in the classroom saying, "What happened?"
Yes.
And I graduated in 2003 with my bachelor's, and I studied psychology because I wanted to be a more effective minister. I wanted to be able to know if somebody had a particular issue or something that was beyond what a average minister can deal with. Yes, we always deal with prayer and God within any situation, but every now and then somebody may need some medication. People may need
Yes.
a little bit more in-depth therapeutic services, and most pastors and ministers don't recognize that, nor do they acknowledge it and get that
Yes.
person to seek that type of help. And that's a part of being a human being, because sometimes
True.
you need a little bit of everything to get you back in
So
balance
true.
with yourself.
So
Yes,
true. Because there's so many traumas that affect our lives today.
absolutely.
Yeah. You know, I'd like to know, what did you major in?
Well, I majored in psychology in my undergraduate. I went
Yes.
to Iona and got my master's
Oh,
in pastoral counseling.
yes.
And then I got a second master's in January of 2015 from the College of New Rochelle in public administration for nonprofit management, which is what church is anyway, a nonprofit,
Right.
you know. So,
So true. And the name of the church that you're affiliated with now is what?
well, I'm ordained with Miracle World Outreach Ministries. They're out of Paterson, New Jersey, with Bishop L.G. Johnson and his lovely wife, Dr. Maxine Johnson. And our church is Miracle Worship Center at 683A Allerton Avenue, Bronx, New York. So I'm right down the block in the neighborhood.
All
And
right.
I wanted to be in my neighborhood to be more effective in my neighborhood.
Is that a street level church, or do you have to go up steps?
We have to go up the stairs. We're on the second floor, so we're not really handicap friendly, but we are able to help people in the community. We do a lot of community outreach. We do a back to school program, over the summer, and we do a
Yes.
community feeding throughout the year, different seasons during the year, and especially on Thanksgiving.
That's excellent. And we need more programs like that in our community because, as you well know, a lot of times in our communities, people come forward to help us during the holiday season. But you know, and I know, we need help throughout the year. That's why
Absolutely.
I'm enjoying hearing that the church that you're affiliated with, they have something for the community all year round.
Yes, and we have a youth program on Friday night. So a lot of the children in our neighborhood come to our youth service
Oh,
on
that's
Friday evenings at
good.
6:30. Yes,
What age groups do they cover?
so long as they can walk and talk, up until the early teen years. Somewhere around 17, 18 years old.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Do you have a youth director?
Yes, we do.
Who?
That's Minister Loxanne Taylor. She's our youth minister,
All
and
right.
she's assisted by Mother Lark and by Sister Angela Jackson, who works with me. We work in the church finances in the church. I'm the church administrator.
Now, I just need to know, when do you get any rest? Do you ever take a deep breath?
Yes, I do. I make sure I get my self-care. Yeah, we call it self-care, and I do get my self-care. I
Yes.
take my breaks, and I shut my phone off. 90% of our problem is that we don't shut off our electronics,
So
and I
true.
shut my electronics off.
You know,
Yes.
you're really bringing up a really good topic because a lot of times clergy and people who work for the public in general don't know when to turn off the clock.
That's correct.
and we wind up with burnout.
Yes, yes, and
Yeah.
I've learned how to avoid that. And that organization, Papa, has given me a lot of tools for me to work with to
Oh,
know how
good.
to shut certain things off and when to turn other stuff back on again. So yes,
That's why I said when the program first started, I was so glad that you could take time out from your busy schedule to be here because I know from dawn to dusk, you're always on the go. It's so hard to catch up to her, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I would love to have you to come back and visit with us futuristically. So I want you to put my name on your calendar now in
absolutely,
advance.
absolutely. That's
Yes.
what I do. Is I do have a calendar. I maintain my calendar, and I pencil people in right away. Whenever they ask
Yeah.
me for a date, you go right on that date. That's why if somebody comes to me with something last minute, they're not going to get me.
No.
They're not
No.
going to get me because I have, I keep a tight schedule. I'm also self-employed, so that also has a
Yes.
little bit of a priority in my
Would
life
you
too.
like to share with us a little bit about that?
Well, I worked at the college also, teaching classes, and I run workshops now,
Excellent.
helping families become healthier. That's why the title Wellness Coach. It's not always
Oh,
about being physically fit. Physical fitness has something to do with it, but it's a lot to do with your mindset. We
yes.
are to be transformed from this world by the renewing of our minds.
So
Romans
true.
12, too,
So
So,
true.
absolutely. So I help people transition, whether it's finances, learning how to set up a family budget, learning how to do better grocery
Oh,
shopping,
that's
just the
excellent.
minimums that we don't really learn about anymore. We kind of tend to do what our parents did, and
Yes.
they don't always do the best. And some of us didn't have the teachings that our parents had
So
to be
true.
able to do better. So I try to help families manage. Getting rid of some of the toxic chemicals we have in the household, drinking more water, and
Oh,
things along those
yes.
lines. Absolutely.
That's excellent. You know, I was so pleased when our mutual friend, Priscilla, told me about you because in today's society, we need to know about self care.
Absolutely.
Self care is so important because, in dealing with all the many stressful situations that we have to deal with from day to day, it's good to have good coping skills.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I teach, take that 10 minutes of meditation. Even if you just sit quietly and do some deep breathing with your eyes closed to get yourself centered and back into balance again so that you can deal with what's coming at you. Life can throw enough curveballs at you. And I always say if you
So
manage
true.
yourself a little bit better, then when the curveballs comes, you're not that
Exactly.
overwhelmed. But we all know, sometimes there's 10 curveballs coming at you at the same time.
So
So
true.
it gets a little difficult sometimes.
Yes, because it's like you're juggling so many things at the same
Yes.
time. And my heart really goes out to our seniors
Yes. Yes.
because they have been the ones who paved the way for us to go across. But now that they're older, a lot of times they get left out, you know?
Well, Priscilla brought me into the Grandparents Around the World organization, and I'm having a ball
Yay!
with them. I am having a ball being
Yes,
part of that organization.
that's
I'm
it.
just a member, in the
Me
backgrounds,
too.
and I just help out whenever I can. But
Yes.
the purpose of the organization is to give the seniors the resources that they may need just in case they're primary caregivers to their grandchildren, or they're dealing with their spouse who may or may not have health challenges, but dealing with overcoming some of those
Yes.
challenges. Homelessness is an issue, elder abuse is
Oh,
an issue. These
yes.
are all issues facing our seniors today, and also the economics.
Oh,
The
yes.
economics of our society today is not very senior friendly.
No, it's not.
And I'm still in the mode of, that's why I'm self-employed, because I'm still quote unquote wealth building,
Oh,
so that I can,
yes.
be a little bit more viable when I get into my 80s and 90s.
That's right. That means a lot,
Absolutely,
you
almost
know,
definitely.
because sometimes, especially when our seniors go looking for help, there's nobody maybe to fill out an application for them
Yes.
or to navigate them to where they need to go to get the appropriate services. And so they get kind of lost in the sauce, so to speak. That's why I like grandparents around the world, because there's always somebody there to help them,
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
And it means a lot. I want to get back to the topic of you being a clergy. Tell me, what do you do at your church?
Well, I'm the administrator, so that everything from sending out texts about events and things that we may be doing in, on a weekly basis. Also, I'm also,
That reminds me, they're going to be honoring you.
oh,
Uh-huh. I didn't want to forget that because I
Yes.
want to be there.
okay.
Tell us
yes.
about it.
Well, my community service work came to the attention of the Williamsbridge branch of the NAACP out of the early childhood.
Where
The-
they located?
They're located at, 670, 680 East 219th Street, the Early
Oh,
Childhood
yes,
Center.
right off of White Plains
Yes,
Road.
yes, with Dr.
Good.
Cheryl DeWitt is the director.
Yes.
And they're recognizing me for community service on May 17th at the Eastwood Manor.
All right. Hey, I'm
Thank you.
looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it too.
And what other events are coming up?
Well, actually, that's the only event right now that's coming up. But now, normally, we also have once a month. We also do educators and childcare forums
Ooh.
to educate childcare professionals how they can actually help their children with some of the issues that our children have today. Whether it's the toxic chemicals that they're surrounded by that can cause
Does
some
that include
adverse.
the parents too?
Well, it can include the parents. The parents are always invited. That's not an issue, but it's up to the center to get the information to the parents to have the parents come to the forum. Okay, so we mail out a flyer to them and we let them know. We've done this with quite a few of the daycare centers in our neighborhood. As a matter of fact, Miss Jean Cooper, the Cooper Group Daycare Services is right next door to my home, and they are a toxic-free environment. So the children that go there are not exposed to the harmful toxic cleaning products that are around them. And she gives them very nutritious meals and everything else. And Miss Jean is just such a wonderful person.
Yes.
But more and more daycare centers are realizing that some of the behaviors, the ADHD, the ADD, is caused by the chemical reaction of children being exposed to things like bleach and ammonia. So that is something. And there was a study done last year by the American Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine Journal, and they talked about how being exposed to cleaning products can actually, the regular stuff you buy in the grocery store, nothing,
Yes.
Can be the equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes a day for 20 years. That's how much scar tissue is on your lungs.
Out of here.
So the neurological effects of being exposed to those toxins on your neural circuits and your thinking patterns can also be that much detrimental. So the less toxic chemicals you have in your household, the healthier your family will be. So I'm teaching a lot of families in our neighborhoods how to do that.
Wow.
The reason why I'm starting in this Bronx is because the Bronx is the #1 asthma capital of the world.
That's what I heard.
Yes, yes. And our breathing issues are very, very
unbelievable.
serious. It's
I
serious.
remember when me and my mom when we were doing daycare, they had the children would come to the daycare with their little asthma machines.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it. It was
Yes.
like an epidemic.
Yes, yes. And I have one little child right now whose mother decided to swap out her household, and he has not had an asthma attack since.
Praise God.
Yeah. She
Praise
detoxified her
God.
home.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Lord, I tell you. You know what just came to my memory is the fact that grandparents around the world are going to have their annual grandparents ball.
Yes, that's the day after, right, that's the day after the
Yes.
Eastwood Manor, yes. And they're going to be at Maestro's.
Yes, they will.
Their ball is from 12 noon to 6 p.m.
That's right. And repeat that again. It's going to be
May
May
18th. At the Maestro's.
That's
And
right.
tickets are available if you get in touch with Miss Stephanie, and my number's also up there. You can get in touch with us also, and we will definitely make sure you get your tickets.
That's right. and you can come out and have a ball.
A wonderful afternoon, absolutely.
Yes.
And get all dressed up because we have a red carpet photo op also.
That's right. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. I'm
You
having
know,
so much
this-
fun being retired.
Yeah, me too. I tell you, I think it's the best time of my life.
Yes.
It really, really is. And it's so funny. Listening to you talk, it just inspires me. And I hope that it's inspiring you also. You don't have to just sit back in a corner and sit by yourself. I want you to go quickly. Get a piece of paper and a pencil because I want you to take down my number and Minister Sullivan's number so that if you need prayer or you just need somebody to talk to, or maybe you want to join an organization or two, please feel free to call us. And in the meantime, as I always remind you, please keep on smiling because the global spotlight will always be on you. So I look forward to seeing you next time when once again we'll come together for another wonderful session. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, please call me. My number is at the end of the show. Bye-bye. Let's wave at the viewers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you next time.